The pandemic occupied nearly every headline this past year, but a different epidemic has taken thousands of lives across the country and right here in Arizona.
Opioid overdoses increased dramatically just about everywhere, and specifically those caused by fentanyl. Investigative reporter Morgan Lowe live in the newsroom now. In Morgan, it actually became easier for teenagers to get a hold of fentanyl during the pandemic.
Yeah, Yetta and Brandon, it's all because of these smartphones and the apps that are popular with teenagers. If you do a quick Google search, you'll find that teens have been using apps to buy drugs for years now. But the experts we spoke to said that they perfected this in the last year during the pandemic.
That child had expressed so much love to so many people in so many different ways. It's indescribable.
Hannah CUPP was a force of nature.
We raised a beautiful daughter, absolutely beautiful daughter. And it's tragic she's not here.
The stepdaughter, SOMMER CUPP, knew since she was a baby.
I miss her coming into my room.
The kind of big sister Randy CUPP misses every day.
It's crazy to me how she just touched one pill.
It was 1 year ago that Hannah made the fateful decision to pick up a pill off the floor of her bedroom. A pill Summer thinks Hannah's boyfriend dropped. A kind of pill that can kill you by simply touching it.
You said that you saw the video.
Unfortunately, there's cameras in our house for a reason. So she picks up this pill unbeknownst to her, sets it on her nightstand, turns around, and on this video that I have, nobody else will watch, my daughter wipes her nose. Just like this, wipes her nose with her beautiful fingers and her phone in her hand and shuts her door. That is the last live moment that I have of my daughter. 33 minutes later, she died.
Hannah CUPP's death was tragic and far from isolated last year. While the world focused on the coronavirus pandemic, the growing opioid epidemic showed no signs of slowing down. Preliminary estimates show the number of opioid overdose deaths in Arizona rose by nearly 70% last year over 2019's totals, despite the pandemic and its related lockdowns. 2,300 deaths. That's more than 6 per day. The just-released DEA National Drug Threat Assessment concluded fentanyl and other synthetic opioids will likely continue to contribute to high numbers of drug overdose deaths in the United States in the near term.
I would have thought that the number of fentanyl overdoses would have dropped last year. I would have been wrong.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Lieutenant Marco Santana works for the San Luis Police Department.
And I do agree. We would have thought that as a result of COVID, in the quarantine period that people are being part of, would have actually decreased, but it wasn't the case.
He says his small city saw 39 fentanyl overdoses last year, up from 22 in 2019.
It's always like a roller coaster. There's months that you have numerous cases, and there's months that you don't see anything.
Santana says the close proximity to the border means there is a constant supply of counterfeit Percocets and oxycodone pills on the city streets. 2 years ago, we used hidden cameras to show how quickly someone could buy fake Percocets in Mexico. They're called M30s, and they're made with cheap and dangerous fentanyl.
That's not baby aspirin?
No, because this is M, and the other side is 30. Look, 30.
How many do you have?
Well, we have around.
Those pills are making their way to the Phoenix area and into the hands and mouths of teenagers.
Just because they're home doesn't make them safer.
Stephanie SIETE from Community Bridges says the deals that used to take place in city parks or in school hallways are now taking place on cell phones with social media apps.
So I'm just telling you right now, as opposed to being outside or at a school, they didn't lose the opportunity. Everyone's been retrained on how to connect on the internet, and now they have more access to more dangerous things.
SIETE says it's vitally important to warn our children about the dangers of these drugs, but that doesn't always work.
You did everything a parent should do.
Obviously not enough.
Open communications.
No, I didn't. No, we didn't. We saw and that's why I'm here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Summer CUPP thought that she had great communication with Hannah, but it just took one touch for the fentanyl in one pill to kill her.
It's a matter of talking to them, because if they don't know what it is that they're looking out for, how are they going to be aware of not to touch it?
It's hard to say exactly why we saw this big increase in overdoses last year, but some experts say the isolation that the pandemic brought is one big reason. And let's face it, the fact that young people have also been bored during this time makes them, want to look for something new. Brandon, Yetta, back to you guys.
Morgan, Governor Ducey and other state leaders made a big deal 2 years ago about putting in new restrictions to reduce the amount of opioids people can get, cracking down on pill mills and that kind of thing. Shouldn't that have helped things?
Yeah, in some respects it has, but it also led to an increase in the illicit drug market with counterfeit opioids that contain fentanyl. And those counterfeit drugs actually are a lot more dangerous than the real ones.
Morgan, experts in the field of drug addiction will tell you that the opposite of addiction is connection. So isolation is playing a key factor in all of this. Are treatment centers here in the Valley still even taking patients during the pandemic? Is it more challenging right now to get a bed at a treatment center?
Yeah, Brandon, actually, the treatment centers here in the Valley never shut their doors during the pandemic. The folks there know how important their services are, and there are also several healing centers that have programs that are specifically designed for teens and young adults. So if you're worried about the cost, a lot of them have scholarships available to eliminate that concern.
And that is our chief investigative reporter, Morgan Lowe, with that report tonight. Morgan, thank you.